Most people agree that private prisons are bad, but they don't understand just how bad these companies really are. Let's put it this way. When Wall Street banks think that you're too corrupt to do business with, then something's definitely wrong. I have Farron Cousins here with me to talk about private prisons. And, I don't really see this as the banks leaving for any moral reason.
Right.
These are banks that, they pay for fracking. They wash money for terrorists. Back in the last bubble, they kept running it out. They knew what was going to happen to the American public. It's not that they're pulling away from funding prisons because they believe that it's the moral thing to do. You agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. What they're doing is they're pulling out because there's been massive public pressure over the last 2 years to get them to pull their money out of these programs. Now, there's been public pressure for a lot of the things you said, like, hey, banks, stop funding fossil fuel companies, stop funding fracking. But they figured private prisons was one they could actually easily pull out of and not, maybe gain a few more points with the public. So that's what they're doing. But now these private prisons, to make up for the fact that the banks aren't going to be in charge of their loans and financing them, they're going to D.C. and they're doing two things with their lobbyists. One is obviously they want more government contracts. They want more prisoners coming their way. But two, and this is a sneakier thing, they're lobbying for banking deregulation.
Right.
So the prisons are trying to come out and say, listen, banks, we're on your side. We're paying a couple $1 million to have our guys fight your fight for you.
Yeah, so it's a trade-off. It's really a trade-off. Okay, first of all, the private banks, the banking industry knows if they hang in there long enough, they're going to make a big profit.
Right.
So, this could be part of the show, which at the end of all of this, the banks are really not going to be that far away from funding these organizations. I think it's interesting to note that some of the banks pulling out and saying, gee whiz, we can't be part of this, are some of the banks that have defrauded consumers by making up fake checking accounts and fake savings accounts completely out of the air. They've gamed the system on mortgages to where consumers were victims there. So if you look at this list, Wells Fargo, really? Like there's some high ground that Wells Fargo wants to take. This is purely about, and this is the way I see it. Yes, they've gotten pushback from consumer groups or advocacy groups. Yes, they want to make it look like they want to do the right thing. Truthfully, when the numbers look like they're attractive enough, it's not going to make any difference. We saw that, as I said, with fracking. We saw it in the Wall Street burn down on mortgages. They knew for years what was coming, but they kept it up. We've seen it where they're actually financing terrorism. Yep. So there's really no morality here.
Well, exactly. And the reason the banks think this is a safer group to pull out of than the fracking or any of the others is because they see that something's going to happen with the private prisons. We know that there's more assaults there. It actually costs taxpayers more to put prisoners in private prisons. So they see on the horizon there is likely going to be some kind of changes with the private prison industry because of how bad it is. And they're getting out while it's hot, and they're using the cover of, the public wants us out, so we're doing what the public wants.
Well, here's what's important. It's a $4 billion industry, $4 billion a year industry already. Right now, the private banks, the private housing or private prisons are about 8% of the prisons. They see that climbing every year. So we're going to see them back. This is kind of a show.
Yep.